But let's start with the big story that is coming in from the United States of America, where the American Secretary of State Marco Rubio has said that he will not be attending the Group of 20, that is G20 talks that are scheduled this month in South Africa. Rubio says that he is skipping the event because the host nation, South Africa, has what he describes, in his words, to be an anti-American agenda. Now, this announcement has come just 2 days after President Donald Trump lashed out at South Africa over the recent land reforms in the country. In a post on the social media platform X, Marco Rubio said that he will boycott the G20 talks of the foreign ministers in Johannesburg on the 20th and the 21st of February. Marco Rubio wrote, and I quote him here, "South Africa is doing very bad things, expropriating private property." He also added that South Africa was using the G20 to promote solidarity, equality and sustainability. In other words, DEI and climate change. Now, DEI, remember, stands for diversity, equity and inclusion. And these are values that the American government under Donald Trump is completely opposed to. Because these are values that are being attacked relentlessly by the Trump administration, even within the United States of America. Now, earlier, President Donald Trump had asserted that South Africa was confiscating land and accused Pretoria of treating certain classes of people very badly. Now, Trump had also threatened to cut funding to the country.
Thank you very much. You may be all seated.
So the question obviously is this: why is the American president accusing his South African counterpart of what he describes as anti-Trump and anti-America agenda? A political analyst from Johannesburg gets you more details on this. Listen in.
Africa is a key ally within BRICS, and I think you've seen that BRICS influence is growing. A number of new countries are joining. South Africa does not support American stance on Israel, and we know where Trump stands on Israel. South Africa took Israel to the Hague and, got a judgment against what's happening, in terms of the genocide there. And I think South Africa is seen as a key ally of China as well. So definitely Trump is threatened. South Africa is hosting the presidency of the G20 for this whole year. We know that's a powerful grouping of foreign ministers, and you come together to decide on what's happening around the world. I think Trump is, I wouldn't say is afraid, but I think, there's a sense of South Africa is pushing above its weight and getting too close to people that America does not want it to be close to. I think it's influence.
The South African President Cyril Ramaphosa has rejected Donald Trump's allegations and has said that he is actually ready to explain his government's land reform policy to his U.S. counterpart. On Tuesday, Cyril Ramaphosa, in fact, spoke with Donald Trump's top aide, Elon Musk, to raise concerns about the disinformation that is being deliberately spread about South African policies by the American president himself on the issue of land ownership, which happens to be a contentious issue in South Africa, with most of the farmland still owned by the white people, even though it's 3 decades since the system of apartheid officially came to an end in South Africa. Now, the government is under pressure to implement reforms. The absence of the United States, the world's largest economy, of course, marks a major blow to the G20 nations, which is meant to represent the world's largest economies. And our correspondent Calden Ongu has been tracking the story very closely for us and has sent us this report from Johannesburg. Let's listen in.
The first important meeting of G20 foreign ministers will kick off in Johannesburg on February 20th. South African government says they are looking forward to host all member states, but this morning on a social media platform X, U.S. Secretary of the State Marco Rubio wrote that he will not be attending the G20 summit in Johannesburg, reiterating what President Trump has said, that South Africa is doing very bad things expropriating private property. In a statement, South Africa's Foreign Affairs Minister, Ronald Lamola, said he has noted the tweet and said there is no arbitrary disposition of land or private property in South Africa, and that South Africa's G20 presidency is not confined to just climate change, but also equitable treatment for nations of the Global South, ensuring an equal global system for all. He said South Africa remains open to engage with the U.S. On Wednesday, presidency spokesperson Vincent Magwenya confirmed that conversation is already taking place at various levels between U.S. and South Africa on issues relating to PEPFAR AIDS, and also refuting some mischaracterization of South Africa and application of the country's laws. He even added that President Ramaphosa's intention is to welcome President Trump on a state visit ahead of G20, which will afford the two to engage on various issues. This is Calden Olmo from Johannesburg, South Africa for WION The World is One.
For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.